has written hundreds of articles and given many talks. He was a top surgeon and the first to create successful total hip replacement. He's a founder of the Center of Hip and Knee Surgery in Indiana and a very well-respected professor. He's still very well respected by the community and other doctors. His list of words and skills goes on, but behind this professional man, there is a personal story and a strong desire to help others. Meet a man with so much to share. Not only has he built a successful career as a doctor, but he's also created a beautiful family that he's so incredibly proud of. He was more than happy showing off his kids, his grandkids, and even some of the awards he has earned along the way. His story is one of hard work, love, and legacy. But who is Dr. Ritter? Let's talk a little bit about you. Where were you born?
Indianapolis.
And you decided to go to school to be a doctor. Why?
In the 7th grade, I decided I didn't want to be a doctor. My dad was a doctor. I'm the 8th Dr. Ritter related in this city. There are 2 other Dr. Ritters that are not related to me, but I'm the 8th one in succession, not one right after another, but the 8th related Dr. Ritters in Indianapolis.
I asked him how he met his wife, Nanette.
For 4 years, and I met her my senior year in medical school. I was starting an IV on a little girl, and I got it started, but back then we only had needles. We didn't have Intracat. And so I got it started, and the nurse had left me, so I kind of raised my voice. And
No, you?
yes, I did. And the nurse walked around. She said, "You don't have to yell, doctor." And her name was Nanette, and we were engaged in 6 weeks and married in 6 months.
So you kind of like a woman that is bossy and tell you to shush.
That's the same reason why I like Patty.
And here's Patty, Dr. Ritter's new companion. We will be getting back to talk more about her very soon. Speaking of his wife, I asked Dr. Ritter to share a little bit about her personality. And that's when he told us the pool story, a funny and heartwarming moment that really shows who she was.
Annette had asked me many times if we could have a pool. And I said, absolutely not. I wasn't interested. She then asked, where was her property versus mine? And I said, it's both of ours. So I was gone for 3 to 6 weeks into Europe, and I came back and found this thing here. Needless to say, it was put in when I wasn't here.
If you have the chance to have a coffee with yourself when you're 20, what would you tell yourself?
First of all, I wouldn't change anything medically, but I'd sure like to figure out how I could be a better husband, better father. I don't know if it would happen, but that would be the best.
Unfortunately, he lost his beloved wife to cancer. It's a deeply painful chapter in his life, but through it all, his strength and love for her continue to shine. Her memory lives on in the stories he shared with us.
I was there all the time with her. We thought we had it beat, and the doctor told us we could drive out to Wyoming, and we did, and started having pain. We got an x-ray, and metastatic disease was in her pelvis, so we came home. And at that point, we stopped other medicines, and so the diagnosis was made in February, and she died in November. And so the last 4 months were right here in this house, she and I. No, she was a cook.
What was
I don't cook.
Oh, so that's the biggest
I mean,
counter.
No, that's not the
What do
biggest.
you eat every day?
Patty.
Well, before Patty, you had to eat.
I would go out and buy something. And I don't know how to cook. No, I'm serious. I don't know how to cook.
Well, but for a smart person, if you want to learn how to cook, you would.
No.
Yes, you learn how to do surgery. You
Right.
can learn how to to fry the egg,
Well, I could probably do those things.
but you don't like it.
I just didn't need to.
Everybody in town knows Dr. Ritter, but a lot of people did not know what you did for other people besides just working in your office every day. Let's talk a little bit about the Operation Walk.
We'd go to a country, Cuba, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and we would do 120 thereabouts hip or knee replacements in 3 days. And then we'd leave on day 5, make
3 days. I'm trying to see, how many hours you have in a day to do that.
40 a day.
40 a day.
Yeah,
And that was all free. All free.
all free.
You would bring the doctors, the nurses, the equipments, the whatever.
The implants, everything. Yes, I paid for the entire thing.
You would do that once a year?
Once a year, yes. And I've seen many follow-ups of people with hips and knees that we've helped. They're just as happy as they can be. It's really nice.
So speaking of the Operation Walk, I have a surprise for you.
What?
I'm going to show you something. Right now, in my car.
That was his favorite sentence. Every time he saw me, he said, "You go with me to help me with interpretation."
Morella was hired to be the translator for Dr. Ritter's trips. And little did he know, after all these years, we were able to track her down. It is an amazing moment reconnecting after so much time apart.
You're also very funny. And you know what, your cowboy boots are unique. Your belt buckle, we love it. Your Spanish, yo soy el jefe. Every time you go anywhere in this, country, you will say, yo soy el jefe. So everybody needs to follow your orders, your whistle. That we are like a military camp. As soon as you whistle, everybody were in line, ready to go.
After so many years of hard work, raising a family, and helping others, Dr. Ritter now enjoys life in his beautiful home, taking RV trips, and of course, spending time with Patty. Remember Patty from the beginning of the video? Well, she didn't want to be interviewed. No, not at all. But Dr. Ritter mentioned her so many times that I could not resist.
Well, I resisted being introduced to him for a while because I didn't want to have anything to do with a retired surgeon. I had worked with surgeons in my job as a medical social worker, and I found them all to be very disagreeable and egotistical and unpleasant. He listened to what I had to say, which is sometimes a rarity among men in general, and surgeons in particular.
Patty and Dr. Ritter spend a lot of their time in his woodworking shop, crafting beautiful furniture as gifts for friends and family. And that's not all. They also build toys to donate to charities. Dr. Ritter, on behalf of all the patients from Latin America, I want to say thank you. You and your team have changed so many lives. Indiana is truly proud to have someone like you. For those who don't know, Patty Bledsoe is my mother-in-law. And here is a fun fact. Dr. Ritter and I share a very similar personality. Yep, we are both a little bit bossy. So, of course, I could not resist picking on him just a bit.
I kind of raised my voice, and
No, you?
yes, I did. And the
Morella.
Morera.
Morella.
Morera. What? Stop it.
Carla.
The hell with it.
Say my name, Carla. And they see you talking to me, and you just say my name correctly, Carla.
No, I don't.
Not in an American way.
No, I don't.